morning, students. Today we are going to learn a new lesson in biology. Before moving on to the new lesson, let's have a recap of previous lesson. Do you all remember what we have learned in previous lesson? It is about the circulatory system. Yes, in circulatory system, what are the things we have learned? We have learned about the components of blood, that is plasma, red blood corpuscles, white blood corpuscles, and the platelets. Under each heading, we have learned about each one in detail, right? And then we learned about the functions of blood. In functions of blood, we learned that blood carries oxygen to all over our body, blood carries waste products, and blood transport the digested food, and then it transport chemicals, and WBCs help us to fight against the infection. Platelet help us in clotting of blood, and it helps to regulate the water balance and regulate the body temperature. These are the things we learned under functions of blood. And then we learned about blood groups and blood transfusion. There are four type of blood groups available, that is A, B, AB and O. And then the process of receiving blood is called blood transfusion, we learned. And then the person who is receiving the blood, they are called recipient. The person who is donating the blood, they are called donors. And we call the person who is having O blood group as universal donors, and the person who is having AB blood group, they are called as universal recipients. And then we learned about blood donation. We learned that healthy adults can donate blood every 3 months, and it is not harmful because it will regenerate in your body within few days. And then the blood is collected and then stored in the blood bank and distributed according to the need. And then we learned about the blood vessels, that is about arteries, veins and capillaries we learned. And then we learned about the heart structure and the circulation inside the heart. And we have learnt about the circulation in detail. And the muscles of heart, we call that as cardiac muscles. And what is heartbeat and pulse, we learned. The contraction of the heart muscles is called heartbeat, and the instrument we use to hear the heart sound is stethoscope, and the average heartbeat is about 72 beats per minute. And the throbbing or swelling of the arteries each time the blood pumped out of the heart, that is called pulse. And about the blood pressure, the instrument we use to measure the blood pressure is sphygmomanometer. And what is blood pressure? The blood exerts some pressure on the walls of the blood vessels, that is called blood pressure. Usually the doctor measures the arterial pressure. Okay, how we picturize the blood pressure? It is the maximum pressure over the minimum pressure. Okay, this is what we learned. And how you keep your heart healthy. You need adequate exercise and regular eating habits, and you have to take fiber rich foods and adequate rest and relaxation, and you must avoid alcohol, smoking and tobacco chewing. These are all the things we have learned under the previous lesson, that is the circulatory system. Now we'll move on to the new lesson, that is health and hygiene. This is the new lesson. This is lesson number 7. Okay, can you say what is health? When you will say a person is healthy, can you guess? Yes, we say when the person is having a body that is fit and the mind that is healthy, at that time we call the person as healthy. So what do you mean by health? You must have a body that should be fit and your mind should be healthy. Then only we say the person is healthy. Sometimes a person may have a fit body, healthy body, but they may be lunatic. Lunatic means they are mentally disabled, or they may have some mental disorder. Can we call them as healthy? No, they are not mentally healthy, right? So a person must be healthy in a physically and mentally, then only we can say them as healthy. Okay, to begin with, let's discuss about some diseases. If you are not healthy, you have some disease in your body, right? We are going to learn about some diseases in this lesson. Okay, usually diseases are classified into two categories, that is communicable and non-communicable. As you all know, communicable is the diseases are spread from one person to another, that is communicable. Non communicable is the diseases will not spread from one person to another, that is non communicable diseases. Okay, then coming to the communicable diseases, these communicable diseases are caused by microorganisms. So what is microorganisms? Micro, the name itself tells you it is too small. Okay, it is too small. And for example, bacteria. Okay, bacterias are too small, you cannot see with your naked eye, but it found everywhere in the soil, water, air, and even inside our body. All the bacteria are not harmful, some bacteria are harmful. Okay, coming to the parasites. Okay, communicable diseases caused by microorganisms and the parasitic organisms. Coming to the parasites, they are very large and they are very harmful to our body. Okay, usually they live inside one organisms. For example, we have a parasitic organism in our body, means we are called as host. HOST, host. Okay, so when the parasitic organisms inside live inside our body, they draw food and water from our body, so we become weak, right? Yes, so parasitic organisms usually live within other organism. Okay, that is called parasitic organism, and they also cause many diseases in human beings, and they are very harmful. Okay, coming to the bacteria, look at the pictures. This is the picture of different type of organisms under microscope: fungus, virus, and bacteria. You will learn each about each one in detail in the 7th standard. Okay, next, bacteria. These are all some of the diseases the human can have. Okay, these are the diseases a human can get. Many bacteria are useful to us, but some of the bacteria are causing diseases. Some diseases like tuberculosis, typhoid, tetanus, pneumonia, cholera, dysentery, all these are caused by bacteria. Okay, have you all understood, children? You all know that bacteria is a unicellular organism, right? And these bacteria cause some diseases. But we have some useful bacteria in our gut, in our intestines. They live in our intestines, but they are useful to us. But some of the bacteria like staphylococcus and other bacteria, they cause diseases. Okay, next we'll move on to virus. Coming to virus, they are very small than the bacteria. Okay, bacteria itself we cannot see with our naked eye, but the viruses are so small than the bacteria. They also like the parasites in living inside the cells, and they cause diseases. They are often named after the disease they cause. For example, polio. When the disease comes, we call that virus as polio virus. So we name the bacteria after the disease it causes. Okay, each type of virus usually infects one particular type of organism, which means it affects only one type of organisms. For example, look at this. These are all some of the viruses: HIV, hepatitis, rabies, influenza, ebola, adenovirus. These are all the pictures of different type of viruses. It can be seen under the microscope. So colorful, right? We all know the corona also, it is a virus, it is a type of virus. And then look at this, these are some viral diseases: smallpox, chickenpox, polio, measles, mumps, influenza, dengue, hepatitis, chikungunya, AIDS. All these diseases affect only human beings. So the viral diseases affects one type of organism. So these diseases affect only human being, not the other organism, animals and other things. But some viruses like rabies virus and all, it infects human beings, dogs and other animals too. So some of the viruses cause diseases in human beings and other animals also. Usually it affects only one type of organism, but some viruses are exception. They infect too many things. Okay, then we'll move on to the protozoans. What do you mean by protozoans? These are one type of organism. This, for example, amoebas or belong to this group, this category, protozoans category. We have this amoebic dysentery, malaria, sleeping sickness. All these are caused by protozoans. This is the type of organism. Look at this picture. This is amoeba, paramecium, euglena. All these are type of protozoans. These protozoans cause many diseases in the human beings. Next is parasitic worms. Have you heard of it? Worm infestation. குடல்ல புழு இருக்கு, பூச்சி இருக்கு, like that people used to say. So these are all some worms: tapeworms, roundworms, hookworms, pinworms. These are some type of worms which affects the human beings. Okay, it usually lives in our intestines, large intestine, small intestine, like we have, right? So these worms live in our intestines of human beings and some other animals too. Okay, they cause problem because they live in the intestines. They cause some digestive problems. Okay, for example, diarrhea, dysentery, and because of this worms living in our digestive system, we usually have weakness, general weakness, and we have anemia. Anemia means your red blood cells count will become low, hemoglobin will be low. That is anemia. And it, look at this picture. These are the common types of feline intestinal worms. Okay, roundworm, webworm, hookworm, tapeworm. Okay, these worms live in our intestines. Okay, worms cause some diseases. For example, worms is, look at this picture, it is worms infestation. We have to take albendazole tablet. Usually when you go to the doctor because of this worm infestation, they prescribe albendazole. Every 6 months you have to 6 months you have to take albendazole to deworm. Deworm means you have to take away the worms out from your digestive system. Look at this picture. This is how it is inside our intestine. So next is, look at this picture, a person's leg which is very swollen. This disease is called as filariasis or elephantiasis. This disease caused by a worm. Okay, this disease is called as filariasis or elephantiasis. In Tamil we used to say yanai kal vyadi. Okay, the foot looks like an elephant foot, right? So that is why the name is elephantiasis or filariasis. Okay, you must take extra effort, extra care to be taken for this leg if the person contract this disease. Okay, okay, how these organisms or some diseases transmitted from one person to another or from organisms or from anything else, how we contract the disease or how the diseases are transmitted. So the transmission of disease we will learn in the next class. I hope you have understood till this whatever I have taught you about the bacteria, virus, protozoan and the parasitic worms. Yes, children? Yes. Okay, I hope you have understood everything. We'll, we will learn the transmission of disease in the next session. Okay? Thank you, students.